Sometimes, what breaks you is not an enemy, not because you did something wrong, but because you told the truth to the wrong listener. Today's story is not about betrayal. It is not about rebellion. It is about how one harmless confession can turn into a silent sentence. Stay until the end, because there is a chance you have been this character before, without even realizing it. On the edge of a quiet village, there stood an old farm. It was not wealthy. It was not famous, but it was enough for every animal to survive. On that farm, there lived a donkey. He was not fast. He was not strong. He was not impressive. But he was consistent. Every morning, before the sky fully brightened, he carried heavy loads down the dirt road. When the sun stood high, he was still working. No praise, no concern. Not because he was useless, but because people had grown comfortable with his endurance. At night, when he returned to the barn, his back was stiff, his breath was heavy, his mind was empty, and for the first time in a long while, a small thought crossed his mind. Tomorrow, could I work just a little less? Not to quit, not to escape, just to recover. At that moment, a rooster passed by. The rooster was not cruel, but it loved hearing stories, and it loved retelling them. Even more, it asked, "You look exhausted. What is wrong?" The donkey hesitated. Then he trusted. Not because the rooster was trustworthy, but because when you are tired, you want to be understood. He shared his thought. Just once. Just one sentence. But once words leave your mouth, they no longer belong to you. The rooster carried the story to the duck, and the meaning shifted. It was no longer tired. It became frustrated. The duck repeated it to the guard dog. It was no longer needs rest. It became does not want to work anymore. The dog whispered it to a farmhand, and by then, the truth was completely gone. Only a dangerous version remained. The farmhand reported the rumor to the owner, not as a fact, but as a warning. The donkey is no longer loyal. He plans to leave. The owner did not ask questions. He did not call the donkey forward. Not because he was certain, but because he feared losing control. That very night, he made a decision. Cold one. By morning, the donkey was gone. And the deepest tragedy was not death itself. It was the truth that no one bothered to ask for. The donkey never planned to leave, never rebelled, never betrayed anyone. He was simply tired. But in a world where rumors travel faster than compassion, the silence of the innocent always arrives too late. The story is not really about a donkey. It is about you. Not everyone who listens wants you safe. Not everyone who nods in sympathy will protect your words. Some people do not harm you directly. They simply retell your story in the most damaging way possible. So choose carefully who you speak to, not to become cold, but to protect yourself. If you understand today's lesson, comment this exact sentence below. Not everything needs to be said. And do not forget to subscribe, because the next story might be the warning you did not know you needed.